Again, thanks to Max and everyone at DGG for having us here. It's been super insightful yesterday to hear more the technical side, and hopefully we can just shed some light on AR and what we're doing there. Specifically, as you say, toy to tool. That's kind of been our journey. A lot of our business is still in entertainment, but applying it for commerce and the standards we need to meet for that to be valuable for people. So yeah, I'm Zak. I'm kind of from the design side, so my background is in UX design. So at DeepAR, I focus on the user aspect of it, coming from that end. So it's been super interesting to hear people coming from the other end. And Hervoyer is also with me. He's our lead developer, so you can aim any hardcore technical questions that way, or you can ask me for a funny answer. So yeah, that's me. So a bit about DeepAR, as Max mentioned. So we kind of started around 2017. We started off making mobile apps for AR, kind of inspired by what Snapchat were doing at the time with their lenses, but for anyone who wanted to integrate that into any app. That then evolved into making an SDK that worked on any platform that other people could use to take 3D into AR and so make their own stuff. And then that evolved further into DeepAR Studio, which is kind of a counterpoint to Lens Studio and what other people are doing to help artists sort of really compose quite rich and creative augmented reality things. So that's our journey. And yeah, over the years, we've done some quite fun things, from working with wineries on ad campaigns to kind of social apps to working with Sky Live. So our technology runs inside their interactive TVs now, which is really exciting. Doing a bunch of video booth and auto framing. And also working with random things like Air Force, Australian Air Force doing things. So we've been lucky to see a variety of applications over the years and how AR has developed. We've also started dabbling in kind of try-on for beauty and also for glasses and getting a feel for what works there as early as 2018 with partners like Teads who do kind of ads at scale. So why commerce? So this is a focus on AR for commerce. Why now? So the kind of point that we're exploring internally that I want to share with you and then get feedback as well of, after the talk or later. It seems to be that for commerce specifically, the quality really matters in terms of it being adopted. So it's almost like it goes from being fairly unimpressive to being and then it suddenly ramps up to being incredibly useful in commerce. As soon as the product is photorealistic, and also in AR, that involves a bunch of other things as well, like a convergence of different things. So it's kind of an obvious thing, it has to look good, but we have to explore in specifically which way should it look good. And I believe we're about there. Talking with different clients, the conversations are starting to tip over into really exciting results. And yeah, next year should be a big year for seeing really what this technology can do. So yeah, a bit of a true story. Anyone here who's wearing glasses knows that they kind of define your image. They become a really important part of how people perceive you. They feature in all your profile pictures for work. Your loved ones spend hours looking at them and get to know you with them to the point where they can look surprised if you take them off. So yeah, wedding pics, Tinder profile, even at your funeral, your glasses will be there. Or your DGG pipeline pic. So you get the point. They're very important as a purchase, and we thought deeply about specifically glasses AR because people want to know that they will suit and fit. There's the two main problems. So I actually went through, only 12% of glasses are sold online right now in the UK. It's actually only 2% in France. And we started working with Blue Bloom, who are a startup based in the UK. They are mostly focused on trying to get more glasses sold online. And we shipped try-on to them, to all of their 500, 600 plus glasses. And I set myself a challenge to say, okay, now this is up, I'll actually try and use it myself. buy myself my next image-defining glasses. And I was a bit worried because I thought, I'm just going to do this, and then they're going to sit on my desk, and I'll never wear them, and it'll be a bit embarrassing. So I did it. I sat down, took about 10 minutes, found ones that I liked, and I'm actually wearing them still. So it actually worked out for me. And something amazing happened. After that, I started using them for demos, because there are my actual glasses here. We were on a demo with a client, and this actually happened. I took them off to say, hey, look, they look like my real glasses. And then I tried to take them off, the fake ones, and I got really confused for a second, just a second. And it made us think, oh my God, it actually became real. And it's like it crossed this threshold for being like, yeah, got this AR thing on, to just for a second just being like, oh my God, I was fooled. The lighting was just right. As you can see here, we positioned it just right. But yeah, it becomes to the point where that is actually what I look like with them on. And that's, I think, the standard we have to fit for commerce. Like, it has to be that good. So yeah, we're used to, obviously, quality. Everyone here is working really hard on that. I was a big user of Flight Simulator 98. And, it was still fun, though, to play lower quality computer games. They still have value and utility. I would still enjoy it. And some games even focus on low quality graphics, and it's actually a thing. So for gaming, it's a bit different. But with commerce, what a lot of consumers see now with some of the early 3D and AR implementations is something like this. It's infuriating. It's like the early images from the web where it was like no one would buy that, no one put their credit card into that website. It's sort of the thing, but it's fuzzy and it's not quite the thing. And it's, we all see that now and I'm going. So I think that we need to go from the AR appearing a bit like that to being, and it's a very small line. It's very actually difficult it's not something you can really measure. It's actually subconscious for most people and it's just a reaction. So yeah, it's not useful until it suddenly is. So yeah, so what do we do about that? We've been developing our reality check. So it's a way for us to break this complex problem down into 6 main areas where we score in shape, shading, fitting, occluding, tracking, and performance. And then the overall score out of 10. And we try and meet at least 8 out of 10. We find that's when the glasses start to fool you that they're real. So yeah, shape. We had a lot of conversations yesterday about the different ways to make photorealistic 3D models. Still find handmade as a valid path. You can focus on all the details. You can do it with just reference images, which is often what clients do. They just send you 3 JPEGs and expect a 3D model back. But it is slow and open to interpretation. So you end up coming back and forth a little bit. Scanners are really cool because they're obviously faster, but you do need to have the product there, and the product can only be so big. And obviously generative AI promises to go in there. I don't know, it's not even really worth talking about yet, but it might suddenly cross into being useful, where you could that would be the dream, right? Take 3, 4 images and it will spit out a realistic 360 image. The shading is a tricky one as well. I tried to show kind of the subtle differences between going from a 5 to an 8 out of 10. On the left, you see it just doesn't look real. Like the watch is pretty cool, but something about it, you know that you're wearing something fake. And it's just something in the environment map. The lighting's too bright, coming from the wrong angles. So we're working really hard to try and have dynamic shading so that it'll take the input camera feed and bunch of different things we're exploring. I wouldn't say we've got anything really solid yet, but something like that needs to work in AR because people launch these things from wherever they are, day, night, at home, in lighting and different colored lighting. We were trying it last night in the bar, and they look luminescent because they're all lit like you're in a studio. And the middle one's a bit better, but still it's too shiny or it's too bright. The glasses are very close. That's why I got fooled, especially in black. So yeah, that's what we're aiming to do. Fitting's a really cool one. Traditionally, AR would just scale it down to your whatever size head you have. But obviously this is the same. This should look silly on a young kid. They should look oversized. So we've got a fun, just this week we've got a demo together actually where we figured out if you can, most humans have a very consistent iris diameter. And if you can measure that in the first couple of seconds of an experience, you can get a reference for how big their actual head is. And then you can scale up a model to the real size. And it's actually quite, from our tests, it's pretty accurate. And it can also give them back their IPD and their head width and stuff if that's useful for, other like prescription and other applications. So that's a fun one. Including for AR, that is quite important. As you can see what it looks like without. That's the best way to demonstrate it, really. It's a sort of basic see-through 3D rigid model that's meant to be your limb, basically, and hide parts of the model that shouldn't be seen. I think that we're close on the right, but you can still see if you look close. It kind of breaks in some angles, and that's we've been careful with that angle as well, and selective. You can find weird angles, especially if you're wearing different kind of jeans or more baggy trousers. So I think the challenge there is how can we take our machine learning models and find an efficient way to really identify what is a limb or something like that. Tracking. So obviously that's important. It needs to accurately detect facial features. We need to deal with a variety of light conditions, skin colors, facial features, people with beards, kids, adults, and it's important that it doesn't jump around. So I think that's probably one of the biggest areas of focus for us. We build most of our tracking in-house with a variety of, 68-point model we use for some things because it's highly detailed and can capture facial expressions. But for things like glasses, you don't need so much of that, so we only capture 22 points, and then you can really do more machine learning to make sure it really does stick in a convincing way. So that's what we do in our free time. And performance, of course, all of this, we're rendering 3D on the fly, but we're also running pretty hardcore machine learning models on your phone. So we have to be really careful with performance. The load time, of course, needs to come up really quick. This is with the help of Rapid Compact and lots of different things to take a model. Well, one idea that we're exploring is to load a really small version of the model really quickly, and then in the background download a higher version and sort of like video buffering to help that. That's one thing. Frames per second, it's got to actually do it at least 30 or 25 times every second for it to be a convincing thing. And then obviously your phone can get a bit hot after running these for a while, all of those things. So basically, there's another thing as well. If you go too real, you end up dropping off the reality as well. So, if your camera feed is 720p and then you've got a 4K glasses on, that also does not look real or convincing. So there's like this sigmoid curve which suddenly becomes really useful, and then you can just overshoot it. So it's kind of a very narrow target for making AR valuable. And that's why we think deeply about each use case completely separately. We were talking with Fibble yesterday. It is almost like a different 3D, different fit challenges, different, reasons that people want things to fit. Style concern, like most people know their shoe size, but they don't know their IPD. Let's say I didn't. They have we have different machine learning models for every single type of limb. There's a different 3D model pipeline often for these different things right now. At least that's what we use. More handmade for the glasses currently, and then more scanned for shoes seems to work better. But it's all still kind of being tuned. And of course, a completely different. We even try and extend it to when people use these things, when they buy, the UX is different for them. They have different expectations when buying. You don't buy glasses and shoes at the same time. Usually you're in a different frame of mind doing a different thing. So we have to be careful about how we present 3D and AR to them at the right time and in the right way. And then, of course, scale, which is the point of this whole talk in a couple of days. So this is my grandma. She's actually uses some tech She's got an iPhone. She has Facebook, which was the day I left, by the way. She uses Amazon to buy things and other stuff, and she's even spoken to ChatGPT. But as far as I'm aware, she doesn't have Bitcoin. She certainly doesn't own a Bored Ape, and she hasn't ever used AR or 3D, in fact, to buy anything. So in terms of scale, I'll only accept that we've solved scale, and once my grandma has used that. That's kind of my internal thing. Is like when my grandma's using it, that's the tech that's innovated, and that's scaled to the point where it's providing enough value to, you can pull anyone off the street and ask them, did you use it in the last week or 2 weeks? And so then it's obviously a chicken and egg thing. So all the work we do here with pipelines is feeding into it, but then that doesn't work if no one is ready to accept it at the other end. No one's demanding it, or it doesn't have a super big impact on conversions. So yeah, we need to make sure that the actual experiences are insanely great before we super scale up everything. Because, for example, with glasses, we have to think about also, do you want to fold the arms under certain conditions, and all sorts of things like that, which for AR matter very much. But yes, of course, clients ask for numbers, and they are there, but they can jump around depending on the AR quality. That's what we found. It's very they want to put it on their website, and within 2 weeks, see really big numbers. And yeah, engagement is the one really big thing we find. People spend more time interacting with a product page or a website because it's actually providing them something fun and engaging. Conversion rates do go up, and even importantly, less returns, because they know that the product either does or doesn't fit them. Quite a lot of the times now, people order 5 things, that's normal, and then try one on and send them back. Enormous cost to the business. So this can produce all those results, and I think we know it's here to stay, and we know it's valuable, but it has to be just right. But it's also more than that. It actually just takes an online purchasing experience from being passive to like an active experience straight away. So it creates this interactive, it offers a customer an interactive experience. It's the closest thing you can get to the real thing, unless you're really in the store. And there's loads of other things we've been hearing you can do with the 3D models. Once you've invested in them for AR, you can do the product images, obviously. There's 3D viewers, 360s. AR advertising is another one, so providing a variety of augmented reality kind of use cases for making campaigns to be better than just your everyday run-of-the-mill ad. And also virtual reality, which we'll probably hear from next in terms of stepping into these devices that will become more and more ubiquitous. So yeah, that's a quick run through of what we're doing and where we think things are at. You can scan that, by the way, if you're interested, and try our glasses on and see if you're convinced. And yeah, come find me in Havre if you want to talk a little bit more or share your thoughts. Thank you.